offering was taken. I don't wanna let go. I just needed your faith. You've become my own Jesus. Surrender all of my being. I won't ever let go. Lost my heart and my allegiance. You became my religion. Lost it all on my own. And I hold on. And I hold on. I feel it inside me. I'm falling to nothing. Lost it all on my own. Pushed again much deeper. Sacrificed and unspoken. Left for dead here again. I won't ever let go of. I just needed your love. You've become my allegiance. Lost myself here again. Throw me down in the hole. I won't waste my ambition. Strip away my devotion. Fix it all on my own. And I hold on. And I hold on. I feel it inside me. I'm falling to nothing.
Oh, yes, bitches. Welcome. This is the Nothing Sacred interview. I am Maxwell Silverhammer flying solo. And with me is my guest, Alex Martel from the group Deadly Apples. Alex, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Now, first off, I got to ask, how did you guys come up with the name Deadly Apples?
I just really liked the way it sounded, and I enjoyed the fact that everyone can kind of make their own interpretation. Some people think it has to do with the Bible and like the forbidden fruit. Other people think of Snow White. There's like different meanings that are possible, and yeah, it just sounded like a cool name, basically.
Oh, okay. I thought there would be some kind of crazy story behind it. Like you guys went somewhere and you ate something with apples in it and you got sick, or I don't know. But so we just heard the song Sacrifice, and that's your most recent single, right?
Yeah.
So what do you guys talk about? Sometimes your lyrics are a little abstract. So I was like, I'm trying to figure out are you talking about like, giving everything for something? What's the meaning behind that song?
Well, what you just said, to me is a compliment in the sense that I kind of like the fact that people can't necessarily tell what the song is about, which means everyone can kind of have their own meaning with whatever's going on in their lives or whatever they're going through.
Okay.
Um, Personally, I can say that the lyrics for the song came from a place of the deep loss during my life
Mm.
a few years ago, and I just put the words to paper, and that's what came out.
Wow. Okay. So a little catharsis going on there, huh? Kind of
Yeah,
flowing,
well,
blowing off, blow off some steam and stuff. That's cool.
yeah.
And you had some big names working on that track with you. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, actually, the on the entire album, we worked with Danny Lohner, who was in Nine Inch Nails, and he's currently with Till Lindemann of Rammstein, and he's worked with so many amazing artists over the years. So he played all the guitars and bass on the album, including on Sacrifice. So that was really that was really great. Like he really brings his personality, I guess, in his playing. And we also have Richard Patrick of Filter, who also used to be in Nine Inch Nails. He did some guest vocals on that song and also on Volatile, which we released earlier this year. Yeah, and we worked with a bunch of other people as well. We had Ben Gross mix the album. He's worked with so many amazing artists, everyone from Depeche Mode to Marilyn Manson.
Damn.
Um, and yeah, also did some pre-production work with Michael Beinhorn, who's like a legendary producer. And he sent us like 10 pages of notes about
Oh,
that song.
Jesus.
Uh, so yeah, we're really fortunate that we got to work with a lot of different people on that song and on the album in general.
How do you even hook up with these kind of people? Like, these are big names, man.
It's really case by case. You know, some uh, some of the artists that we've worked with, I met them when I was a teenager, just being a
What?
fan, sneaking backstage at shows, and eventually exchanging contact info, and uh, so yeah, and those early encounters I had when I was a kid, it led me to eventually work in the industry, which led me to meet even more people. So, um, yeah, I guess that's a broad answer, but
Hey, that's
Danny Lohner specifically, I met him through Fat Mike of NoFX, who I've known for a long time. And I was in LA. Mike was working on his solo album with Danny at Danny's place, and he was just like, "You should come over." And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I'm a huge fan of Nine Inch Nails, so it was pretty cool meeting him and basically being at his place at his studio. Super nice guy, and we kept in touch. And when it was time to record the album and we needed someone to play the guitar and bass parts, uh, just reached out to him and he agreed to do it. So we're
that's
we're
cool.
we're we're really we're really grateful for that.
Well, one just by listening to you talking here, it sounds like you're a networking type dude. Like you're not afraid. Sometimes people get that apprehension of, oh man, I no, I don't know if I could talk to them. I might, they might be an asshole, or they're, some manager manservant might come over and throw me out or whatever. Where obviously you seem to like to. You're a networking dude by nature, I think.
You're right. For the band and for whatever other project I've done in my life, like I just go for it and try to make things happen. And I, I guess I must have some kind of skill doing it, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily come in an easy way because I'm not, the most outgoing person. Like I'm very reserved and shy. So I kind of have to kick myself to do it essentially. But I guess it works.
I heard you say that in a previous interview. Actually, you said that you're not an outgoing person. You're kind of reserved, whatever. And but yet here it is. You got this other side of you that will is into networking, whatever. And I think it's a lot easier. Would you say now that we have Instagrams and Facebooks and Twitters and things like that?
Um, I mean, yeah, I guess it can be easier, but at the same time, there's so much, there's way more music out there because it's so easy for, just like doing an album, now anyone can do an album just on a laptop in some basement. Like you don't even need a studio anymore.
Right.
For us, it's still important to, uh, do things, uh, I guess not in an old school way, but like for the album, we did the full album at a studio in LA. We spent almost a year there, and it was important for us to have a certain level of quality that we hopefully reached. Um, but uh, but yeah, I forget what your question was.
I mean, just the fact that yeah, obviously with Facebook and all the social media, it's
Oh,
easy
right.
to
Yeah, yeah.
to network with it than it was back in the day, man. I mean, back then, I'm old. I'm 50, so I remember people trying to write fan letters and other kind of things. So that's why when you said you went backstage and you'd kind of exchange information. I'm guessing by then you had social media. I don't know how old you are, but I'm assuming that's how you did it.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's just a mix of many things, I would say. But now that everything is so accessible, I guess people, well, especially artists or industry people in general, get bombarded by every single band in existence more so than ever. So in a sense, it's easier, but if you look at it a different way, it's you just become part of that ocean of bands, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, I guess that would be an even wider conversation about how it is to be a band in this day and age, with
right,
social
right.
media, with most people's short attention spans because there's so much noise, so much stuff coming out all the time. Um, but yeah, I could rant for a while on that.
Well, and what's cool too is it's the band is just you and your buddy Antoine, right? He does the keyboards, you do the vocals.
Yeah, well, he basically writes the music and I write the lyrics. He plays drums live, and I'm the front man. So we both have very different personalities and skill sets, and we
Right.
essentially try to combine those. And when we perform live, we usually have two additional musicians with us.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's kind of how we've been operating this.
Well, and because when I think of band, I'm thinking 6, 7 people and a bunch of different instruments and all that, where you guys can make it work with, just pretty much the two of you and maybe a few, for hire musicians, and so it's pretty cool. I think sort of Trent Reznor sort of broke the ground for that, huh?
Yeah, or maybe, Ministry is one of my favorite bands, and
Oh yeah.
for the longest time, it was Al and Paul together, so it was always like those two guys. So I usually like, you know, bands or configurations or however you want to say it, but just things that are a bit unusual that aren't your typical band, your typical structure, or I was just always attracted to that.
Ah, that's cool. Less is more in that case, sort of.
Yeah.
So, you had mentioned something earlier about, how now everybody can just sort of, get on a laptop and, and make an album and whatever. What do you think of like this AI music? Like my co-host and I, we play around with this AI music generator called Suno. And how do you feel about it? I know like a lot of musicians tend to be like, oh, that's not real music. That's bullshit. What do you think about that?
I mean, we still do it the old school way, like we never use that. Um, I'm not sure what to think about it. I don't think there's anything we can really do to stop it. So, on our end, we just try to focus on what we do and not pay too much attention to all that other stuff that happens around us.
Yeah, yeah, because I know somebody that's like put two albums together just using that, and and they've released them, and I'm like, wow, they're selling it, and it's out there now, it's available, and I know there's some music purists that are just like, oh man, that's not real music, you're not doing this. It's just like it takes you 5 minutes versus 5 hours to do a song, So I don't know, I just it's still good. I think it's still as long as you're making quality music. I think that's the key to that. So, but you mentioned short attention spans too. With you're doing something interesting with this Distressed album. So talk about that a little bit as far as how you're releasing it.
Well, it was important to us to do a full album first and foremost. For those who are still interested in that format. So we really wanted it to work as like a cohesive piece of art, with you know uh, a story basically, for those who listen to the full thing. So that was really important to us, as well as obviously having the songs work on their own individually.
Right.
But we're pretty much in a singles world these days, so it wouldn't make sense to just release the full album at once. So what we've been doing is essentially release one song at a time, or one single, one music video at a time, so that each of them can have their own moment and kind of their own world in a sense. Like for Sacrifice, for instance, I think the music video is very cinematic, and all the artwork that comes with it kind of complement the song, and it's kind of its own small world in a sense, part of the larger Deadly Apples universe, if that makes sense.
Right, right.
And you know, same thing with Volatile, which was very, very different from Sacrifice. So we're actually working on some more music videos, that we're probably going to shoot by the end of the year. And yeah, we're just gradually releasing the tracks from the album, and eventually, once the full thing will be out, then you know the people who still enjoy that format as we do, will get to experience the full thing, as it was meant to be.
So it's like getting it in pieces, sort of. It's like watching like those the TV series and stuff like that. Every week you got a cliffhanger and you're going, oh shit, I wonder what they're going to do next week. So I guess it's kind of the same thing, huh?
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were saying earlier, like the attention spans, like it's so insane the amount of music that gets released, that not even just music, like whether it's TV, films, like entertainment, and just information and everything. Like it's so hard to just get people's attention these days. So yeah, I I
Yeah.
I, I kind of wish that as a music fan myself, like I kind of wish that it was the focus would still be on full albums.
Oh
But
yeah.
that's we have to adjust to the world that we live in, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for me, I mean, I've always been a music collector, so going to the record store buying an album was my thing, and that's a lot of times, I got into the album cuts more so than the stuff that was played on the radio. So I dig it, man. I'm kind of one of those people. It's like I want the album, I want the full album if I like an artist.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, I guess we're probably becoming a rare breed in a sense.
yeah, some dinosaurs. So
Yeah,
speaking of volatile, let's jump into that real quick. This is off the same album, correct? Off Distressed.
yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
So this is the first piece, I guess, as it were. And yeah, so we're gonna jump into that real quick, and we'll come back and we'll talk to you some more. So Alex Martel, everybody, on Nothing Sacred.
No one gets away. We don't need to stay. Your false safety, it's all gone. We'll strip it away.
All right. So we're back. That was Volatile with the Deadly Apples. And I got Alex Martel here with me. So let's talk about that song a little bit as far as the meaning of that. How did that come about?
Um, the music was written by Antoine, my bandmate, and I just really loved that riff. There's just something about it that's obviously very simple, but very um, catchy.
Right.
And it inspired me to, I guess kind of do a mix of or more accessible tracks like Sacrifice, but also incorporating some of the elements like the screaming parts of heavier songs that we have, like Self-Inflicted Depression. So I think it's a good mix of the different sides of Deadly Apples. And it's actually the first one that we released from the new album, and the reaction was really amazing. We got tons of editorial support from Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, uh, and also the music video for it got selected for the
I,
Berlin Music Video
I was
Awards.
just going to talk about that. Yeah, yeah. So what happened with that?
Um, well, it was submitted and they selected it, so I guess
Nice.
they enjoyed it. It's a pretty cool video. Antoine actually directed it. He's worked a bit in the film industry in Montreal, and he actually used to direct the visuals that appear on screens on stage for certain artists during their shows. So he did that for you know everyone from Celine Dion
Oh,
to Rush, Avenged Sevenfold. He did for Cirque du Soleil. So
oh shit.
he definitely has you know a skill set and great talent for that. So um, I think both of the videos, Volatile and Sacrifice, we're pretty happy with the the result.
That's yeah, he's also worked with some big names. I'm guessing he's kind of a networking type dude too. Between the two of you, eh?
Um, I wouldn't say he's a networking type, but he's more he's more on the artistic side in general, I would say. And I tend to you know be try to take care of everything that has to do with essentially making stuff happen and pushing the band forward, if that makes sense.
Right, right. But just the fact he's worked, done video, Celine Dion. I mean, that's when you hear that name right away, you're just like, oh, damn, he worked with her. So it's pretty cool. Well, and I noticed too, you guys have done, like it seems like you've gotten more success almost globally as opposed to right there in Montreal. Kind of explain that the hated in your hometown type thing a little bit, like because that's I see that with a lot of artists.
Well, what you just said pretty much sums it up. It always kind of felt like we never felt like we fit into a scene here or anything. And you know, there's definitely tons of great music of different genres coming out of Montreal and Quebec in general, or Canada. Um, but yeah, we just kind of felt like we never really fit, and I don't know, it just always felt like whenever we played elsewhere, people would go crazy, and we I guess eventually we felt it a little bit more here. Um, but yeah, we definitely focus on pushing the band more on an international level, and we definitely did more shows in the US and in Mexico, South America, Europe, even Japan than we do in Canada. But we definitely want to play more shows at home, and next year in 2026 we're planning to do more shows and more festival dates in Canada.
Actually, there's a story you told in another interview about when you guys performed in Peru that was interesting. Tell that story.
There's a bunch of stories from Peru.
Well, when you first
uh,
showed up there, it was interesting what happened. Like you guys had an
oh well,
entourage.
yeah, well that was actually I believe the well it happened more than once because we've been 3 times now in Peru. So the second time we were playing like a stadium with Slipknot was the headliner,
Damn.
and our flight arrived at like 2 a.m. or something in Lima, and we got there and there was like a bunch of people waiting for us at the airport at 2 a.m. with like you
Huh.
know printed pictures of us and that sort of thing, and they knew our names and they all wanted pictures and this and that, which we don't we definitely don't get that when we come back home in Montreal. um, but yeah, people, we played there uh, the first time we played there, we got a great reaction. No one really knew who we were, and I guess that really made an impact because then that second time that happened, and even we had a day off there and we were walking around downtown and people were stopping us on the street like we were the Beatles or something,
That's
which
so
was
crazy.
yeah, it was really really odd. And yeah, third time we went back earlier this year. We played this massive festival there. They had Avenged Sevenfold and Marilyn Manson headlining, and they gave us a great slot on the main stage. We played um, right at sunset, essentially, so it was dark for most of the set. We got an hour, and it was just massive. Probably the best show we've ever done, actually. Like people just they just go crazy there. They're really really passionate about music.
That's so I don't know why that is because I'm guessing Canada is probably a lot like America where, if you're not popular or you're not, on the radio or something like that, then they're really not into you. Whereas opposed to out there, it sounds like they actually research, certain stuff and try to find new music and they're more I wonder why that is, why they're more open in other
Um,
countries.
Probably because in North America we're just spoiled. Like, we've
True.
got we've got every band that ever existed just touring constantly, in the US and also in Canada. So I guess maybe it makes it a bit less exciting or special. Or we take it for granted essentially. Whereas in those countries they get a lot less shows and festivals than we have. So to them, it becomes maybe more of a happening,
Hmm.
and probably also, I would guess it also has to do with culture. It's just in their culture to be very um
Like
you know
open, maybe.
ex- yeah, yeah, and excited. And well, and I'm saying that, and it's obviously different from one country to another, but the best example is like in Mexico. Whenever we play in Mexico, it's like everything's just so chaotic there, and the crowds are like so insane and intense, and they're really partying like to a degree that's above anything I've ever seen in Canada or in the US. Um, and you go to somewhere like Japan, and it's the total opposite. Like they're all like super structured and quiet, and there's no mosh pits. Like they're just gonna
No.
clap, and they just clap and cheer after the song, and then it's like absolute silence where you can like hear a fly. um and it was the same because when we played Japan, we were with Corn, and we saw that the reaction was the same when Corn played. So we're like, oh, it's not just us, that's just how
Ah,
it
yeah.
is in Japan. So yeah, it's really interesting to see and discover the different cultures around the world, and the way that they consume or appreciate music.
Yeah, that's so strange because everybody, I guess, like you said, that, if you're not on the radio, we're just kind of spoiled like that. Well, I don't know who that is. I'm not going to listen to them. It's very, very rarely will somebody, I mean, I'll speak for America. Will somebody take a chance on a new artist? You know what I mean? If they haven't heard them before or they didn't recognize the music, where it seems like they're more open. I like how you said in Japan, there's no mosh pit, huh?
Well, the only people I saw moshing or crowd surfing in Japan, uh, they weren't Japanese. They were, people from other countries living there or visiting there. I think quite a few Australians were at the shows, but yeah, they're really. It's pretty crazy how structured they are there. Like, you walk in a back alley, and it's gonna be you know, cleaner than a five-star hotel, like there's no trash anywhere. Everything is like super clean. Um, yeah, it's way more structured than here for sure.
Wow.
But yeah, it's interesting seeing the contrast, like I was talking about Mexico earlier, and that's like just absolute chaos all the time. So it's like total opposite.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you said you had some other stories from Peru. What other wild stuff happened out there?
Um, I'm trying to think which ones I
Like
can
any?
actually say on record. uh, I mean, just in general, like just the how people there are passionate and intense. Um,
How
One
about
thing I
the?
can mention, I remember well, I guess the last two times, because I usually jump into the crowd at some points during our shows, and in Peru was probably the only time I ever got scared that I was gonna get seriously hurt, or like there's actually a picture from not this year but the previous time we were there, and you see me crowd surfing, and you see everyone just like pulling on my clothes, but like really really hard in every direction. Like I thought for a second that I was gonna end up naked in the mosh pit or
Oh
something.
shit!
uh yeah, that was kind of a scary feeling. um, and similar kind of thing happened when we played this year. Like I ended up falling in the crowd, and it was so intense that I literally felt like I was, you know, in the ocean, and like a very strong wave had just grabbed me, and
Damn.
I had no longer control over my body or over anything. But I survived, and I guess it's part of the chaos and the unpredictability that usually happen at Deadly Apples shows.
It's I'm thinking, man, you got to be a little bit fucked up to dive into the audience, right, man? You guys had a few drinks or smoked a few blunts before you got on stage, right?
You know what? Like I don't do drugs. I don't really drink. I don't
Really?
smoke. But when I get on stage, it's just like a whole other side of me. Just appears, I guess.
That's
Like
funny.
a lot of bands, they when they do shows, it's essentially they grab their instruments, they walk up on stage, they play their songs, and they walk off stage, and that's fine. But for me, it's always been kind of like a deeper experience, almost like a therapy or an exorcism or however you want to call it. Because yeah, I'm very reserved and quiet in everyday life, but when I get up on there, it's like everything just kind of comes out, and I think that's kind of uh, at least a big part of what makes our shows very intense and different, where anything can happen, and yeah, I think a lot of people enjoy that, and we've been told many times that we bring the danger back in rock music, because everything feels so stale and safe now.
Yeah.
So you know, it's I guess it's a great thing if we're able to bring back that excitement and that feeling of like, holy shit, what's happening?
Right, right. Wow, that's wild. Because yeah, I would think you'd have to be under the influence of something to because I don't know if I'd have the balls sober to just jump into a crowd, or whatever, because you don't know what the hell you're gonna hit or who's gonna hit you. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
kudos
Well,
for having the
uh,
balls, man.
uh, I guess adrenaline is the most powerful drug. So there you go.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's true, and it's natural.
Yeah.
Well, I actually wanted to jump into the track here. It's self-inflicted oppression, which I really like, that you had with Ministry. So we'll play that real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it a little bit. So here we go. Self-inflicted oppression, Deadly Apples on the Nothing Sacred interview.
I want nothing. I want my God and I want my family. In Jesus' name, I pray. In the Dishnik, 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 in Jesus' name, I pray.
oppression, and you inflicted it yourself. And to every single person.
All right. So self-inflicted oppression. I'm guessing that the main message to that is religion is a self-inflicted oppression. Was that a fair statement?
Yeah, that was um the original idea behind the lyrics of that song. But I think over time it's become, you know, more general in the sense that you can replace religion with the extremism of politics on both sides, and on, you know, all the crazy shit that's happening in society. um and yeah, I think it still feels very relevant.
Totally. Well, that's what I liked about it so much that I was just like, wow, this is some real shit here. Where did you get those clips that you guys used of the woman screaming all that religious shit?
It was something I found on YouTube a while back, and I just thought it sounded, you know, very unique, I guess, and we kind of fucked with it a bit, and it plays it basically plays in reverse in some places.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, you know, it definitely became part of the song.
Well, I like how you say in there you claim you're oppressed, but you're doing the oppressing or something like there's I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but and
Hmm.
it's totally true, man. This is all on them, all on the person that's you know, all whacked out over whatever they're whacked out over. It's almost like a drug.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, I told you before we started the interview, I'm visually I'm completely blind. Actually, I've never been able to see. So I am a magnet for that kind of shit all the time. And my attitude is, hey, I've never been able to see in my life. So they'll come up and say, well, when Jesus comes, you won't need that cane anymore. You won't need, and I'm just like, I don't want to see. Don't you understand? And I'm explaining it to these people, and I shut them down every time. They're just like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't know the people I know if I had vision. I wouldn't have the job that I have if I had vision. So yeah, no, that doesn't sound like a happy ending to me. So yeah, so I run up against that a lot, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, they I could go on for a while just ranting on
And you're
on,
welcome
you
too,
know,
man.
those people just yeah, they're essentially just preying on, you know, yeah,
It's almost like the
and I
okay.
yeah, I could go on for a while, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna walk down that road.
You're walking the tightrope here. Yeah, for well, that's why we call the show Nothing Sacred because we let everybody just kind of let their nuts hang and say what they want to, and nothing's ever too bad. That's why it's nothing sacred. Nothing is sacred here. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, man, I it has that ministry vibe to it too. I like right away I could hear that feel, of a lot of their music. So, and was this another situation of sneaking backstage and getting their info, or how did you hook up with those dudes? Because you say you liked them a lot.
Well, I mean, the song itself, the original version, it had nothing to do with ministry aside from, you know, probably obvious influence. But Paul Barker of Ministry actually did a remix of the song, and that remix is on the soundtrack of the Ministry movie, which was a documentary that they did. And I don't even remember how that one happened. I think I had just reached out to him. He was looking for music for that soundtrack, and he loved self-inflicted oppression. And yeah, he remixed it, and he actually included some samples from their song Psalm 69 into the remix, which was really cool. And we actually even went to, he used to live in Austin, Texas,
Hmm.
for a while. So we actually flew there, and we we met him, spent some time with him, and he took us out to lunch, and just a very nice guy. And I think he's actually working right now with Al Jurgensen on like what is supposed to be the final Ministry album, and they haven't played together in years. So I'm actually really excited to see what they're gonna put out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I like I said, I remember them, back from high school. It's that song New World Order, of course, and Look
Hmm.
in Your Eyes and all that other stuff that's really good. So it's again one of your your networking extravaganzas, I guess, that kind of got that rolling. What's next for you guys? What do you guys got happening coming up?
Well, right now we're really focused on working on the music videos. We want to shoot probably at least three more music videos for songs from the album. Initially, I wanted to release one before the end of the year, but now I feel like it's not gonna happen. So it'll
Oh,
probably be early January, so we have enough time to um, finalize everything. So yeah, we're gonna keep releasing songs from the album, and there's different festivals and tours that are in the works that aren't final yet, so I can't announce it, but
ah,
that should be coming very soon.
hmm. You said you were going to release some stuff before the end of the year, but now it won't happen. What's can we you say what the holdup is, or
Basically, it just took longer than we were hoping for to plan the music videos, and
ah,
put together the proper teams and the people that we wanted, and with their schedules and everything. So yeah, the
hmm.
that that sort of thing often happens. But yeah, it's important to us that everything we do or release gets the attention it deserves and has the level of quality that we're aiming to achieve.
I guess videos are huge now. People seem to want videos. I got a friend who's also blind, and he does music. And he was telling me, he's like, man, everybody wants these damn videos. Shouldn't it be about the music? Because that's how we see it. You know what I mean? But obviously, everybody seems to want videos are the big thing, huh? It's not really about the just having a song up on Spotify, right?
Yeah, and I'd say, the actual official music video is like on YouTube, that's like one thing, but what's equally as important, is if not more important, is, you know, taking um segments from that video, or like, individual takes, and just using those for social media, and the teasers and everything.
Oh, like reels and
um
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, that's definitely something that we need to do more. And yeah, ultimately, in a perfect world, it would just be about the music, but now it's much more than that.
Yeah, unfortunately. I guess it's a very visual society. So they're big on that. They want the video. I gotta have a video. So what about tour? Are you guys plan to play in America at any point? Asking for
Yeah.
selfish reasons.
Yeah, that's part of the stuff that we're working on.
Ah,
We actually had some really great shows in the US earlier this year. We did Welcome to Rockville in Florida, which was absolutely amazing. We got a huge turnout, and we're really, really grateful to Danny Wimmer for having us. And it was also a kind of a full circle moment for me, because I actually went to preschool in Daytona when I was a kid.
oh, no shit.
That's where I learned how to speak English, actually.
Oh,
and uh,
wow.
and I have a lot of family that used to go there, spend their winters there. A lot of people from Canada, and especially here in Quebec, they spend their winters in Florida. So in a sense, it kind of always felt like a second home to me. And we had never played Florida before, and now finally got to do it, and do it in Daytona, which is exactly where uh, I used to go as a kid. So yeah, that was a pretty nice full circle moment. And it was on the Daytona Speedway, which was also kind of crazy.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, but we definitely want to do more shows in the US. Like we've done amazing stuff down there. Like, I know a lot of Americans know us from the Twins of Evil tour that we did with Rob Zombie and Manson a few years ago,
Ah,
which was amazing. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to doing more.
it's interesting. You said you went to preschool in Florida. Was your family in the military or something? Or how did you end up from Quebec to Florida or Daytona?
No, I guess it's just a very popular destination for people from Quebec.
Hmm.
And I don't remember the exact circumstances of like why my parents were able to stay there for several months at one point, but yeah, I went to school there during that time. And otherwise we would always go there during the Christmas holidays. Uh, so, in my in the minds of, I guess, most people from Montreal, Christmas equals, snow, and like Christmas tree on
Right.
uh the a normal Christmas tree, but to me it was always, being in Florida by the ocean with palm trees lighted with Christmas lights. So
I feel like Florida gets cheated out of Christmas. You know, they don't get snow, so they don't get the real Christmas experience. You know, that's kind of how I feel at least. Then again, who am I to talk? I'm from Vegas, so we don't get it cools off, but we don't get the snow too often. So,
Right, right. It,
but
it actually it snowed when I was working on the album in LA. It snowed at one point, and apparently it was like the first time they had snow in LA since the 80s or something. So
oh
that
yeah,
was pretty crazy looking out the window and just seeing snow falling, right next to the palm tree.
right.
Uh, that was quite unusual.
So you recorded this whole album in LA. How long did you guys stay there?
About a year, but it was off and on. So we'd go for like 3, 4 months, come back, and go back there for another couple of months. So yeah, we were there the equivalent of a year. Um, Sometimes I was there with Antoine, and other times I was just there alone when I was doing the vocals. But yeah, I really loved it there, especially the last place that we stayed at, which was in Burbank. I just really enjoyed that that area and met a lot of great people there. So yeah, I
Wow.
I miss it, and I miss the weather for sure.
Oh, I'm sure, because now you're back there freezing your ass off, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so how can people, if they want to check out your music or they want to maybe even collaborate with you, do you have any websites, social media? This is the time to spit them out.
Yeah, well, it's Deadly Apples everywhere, so you can easily find us.
Just look for Deadly Apples on any digital platform, and same on social media. All no weird stuff
Yeah,
like underscore Deadly Apples or anything weird.
no, just Deadly Apples, in one word.
All right. Well, Alex, man, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us and come to our little hole in the wall. We're going to take them out with None of Them, which, by the way, I find this beat is banging. I love the beat on this. So,
Thank you.
anything specific you want to say about this song before we go into it?
Um, I, it's an older song, but I think a lot of people really enjoy it, and yeah, you know,
Cool.
that's pretty much what comes to mind right now.
and,
Uh, yeah,
and
and
you're
thanks,
thinking like
for what's that?
oh, I said I know that's how artists are always. That's my older stuff. I like my newer stuff. I do it myself, so I get it, man. That's same thing. But yeah, man, this has been cool. Thank you for coming on, and we're gonna jump into None of Them. That's how we're gonna take you guys out. And yeah, man, hang on with me even after we stop the recording just to say goodbye and all that fun stuff. But yes, this is the Nothing Sacred interview with Alex Martel of Deadly Apples. I am Maxwell Silverhammer, and that's the story there, bitches. See ya.